he's like, guys, I just got off this crazy Zoom with Gary Vee. And like, we're all buying CryptoPunks. I was like, I want to buy a CryptoPunk. And so I bought my CryptoPunk, and then it just went nuts, the whole NFT. And I bought all these NFT projects early, and it went nuts. And I just got addicted. It was fun. We were all stuck at home during the pandemic, and I had this really cool group of like really interesting people, and we all got into NFTs together, and we were talking about them at 2, 4 in the morning. We were just having fun with it. It was like little mini communities. It was one of the funnest things I had done since I was a kid. Like little pieces of art that were kind of investable, and we were all kind of mentally insane from the pandemic anyway, and like nothing was real. I didn't know, there were MemeCoins, there was GameStop. Like I was like, this is the future of art, you know. And like I went in deep, and I ended up actually not losing money, believe it or not, because I actually sold most of those NFTs relatively close to the peak, because I saw what was happening to the market. It was a liquidity issue. You have to have additional liquidity, and when I realized that Coinbase, their NFT marketplace, wasn't really anything that anyone was going to do, it's like, I gotta get out of this. The problem was I was so consumed by NFTs that I missed the entire like reversal of that market the next year, and I held on to some of those positions too long, and I wasn't shorting the market where I definitely would have been if I wasn't so distracted. And I probably lost $100 million that I could have made that year, I think. So, and I also did, I had this concept of working with the creator economy to build real businesses, and I partnered with this ice cream kid, Dylan.
I remember that.
Yeah, I poured millions of dollars into doing a super fun ice cream shop in Manhattan, and for various reasons, like a multitude of reasons that were out of our control, that business didn't work. But it's not about the money I lost in that business; it's about my time. So I became really distracted for about 1.5 years, 2 years. And it was a critical 2 years when I could have really killed it. And after that whole experience, I said, that's it. I'm back. I'm not letting anything else distract me. In fact, I said, I'm not investing in startups anymore for the most part. Like, cause I used to take, I'm in almost 150 startup investments, right? I was like, too much of my time. I'm going all back into the thing I'm great at. I have a 17-year track record of like 70+% annualized returns in the market. What am I doing anything else but that? It had to be insane, right? Like, why would I do anything but that? And so I got back in it, and I've been back in it now for a couple of years, and I've had 2 of the best years of my trading. It's wild. It's been wild. And you know what? I love it so much because I'm re-engaging with my community again. And there's like, I have thousands, we have 50,000 in our Discord, like thousands of people that do this type of trading, social arb trading that I kind of wrote a book about, 15 years ago. And they love it. And we're just like a community, and we're looking for change in the world, and we share ideas. And I'm back with Dave and Jordan. We're doing weekly shows again. We're just talking about the stuff we see. And, a lot of times it's little stuff. It's a brand popping or a brand falling apart. Like I talked about that right now. Like, Nike, I think, is still falling apart right now. And there are other brands that are really hot I'm investing in. So we try to get ahead of the trends and invest in them. It's literally that simple. And how fucking fun does that sound? It's the funnest investing ever.
The big moment, I think, where I remember your channel was popping off, the fake Pokemon box.
So you
did that live stream.
Yeah, but that was like a different thing. That was the NFT, that was during the NFT days. And so one good thing came out of that, though. I met a guy, Gary King Pokemon, from that. And I had this concept. Logan Paul bought the most expensive Pokemon box. So I was going to buy the most expensive one on top of that. Yeah. And I was going to auction off and give it away for charity to my foundation, just to have fun. So I was like, it seems so fun, Pokemon. And so I did it, and it didn't really make much money. Like, I ended up giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to kids, charities. But the market had come down on Pokemon a little bit during that period. But I met this guy, Gary King Pokemon, and he introduced me to another guy, Matthew, who was starting a Pokemon trade show. And he's like, this guy's really smart. Chris, you have money. You believe in this world. I'm like, I do believe this world's going to be big. I believe like that whole world of anime and like trading card games is a world that most people on Wall Street, and they don't believe it. They don't understand it. They think it's too nerdy. I love nerd culture. I think nerd culture is going to grow massively over the next 2 decades. And so I wanted to invest in nerd culture, and I was really trading PSA at the time, like collectors. And then it was funny because that got acquired by Steve Cohen, and I have a good story about Steve Cohen too. I can talk about. I've never talked about it.
Cool.
Having this leagues, but he bought that, and I was like, dude, I was trading that. I want to, and he acquired it, And I was like, that's BS, because that stock was going to double if you didn't acquire it. So I invested in this trade show. And now Collecticon is like a major, major trade show. We're doing 18 shows next year. It's weird how when you do things in life, you never know how they're going to play out. So I tell people, just do a lot of stuff, meet a lot of smart people, and just engage with people in a positive way and do good things for them. You never know how it's going to come back and reward you. Because I'm like that whole time that like I was doing Pokemon stuff, I didn't make any money from it. It was just a fun thing. I was having fun with the community, with all these big Pokemon people. Like there was nothing in it for me at all. Like zero. It cost me money. I threw that. Did you come to that party?
I did. I was there, and you gave me the empty boxes, and I still have them on display. By the way,
do you know Steve Aoki did that with me? So that party cost me $100,000. So you're like, Chris, you just spent $100,000 to give away $300,000 to kids' charities, and you got nothing from it. At the time, I got nothing from it. But I ended up meeting a guy, and everybody really thought I was very nice by doing that for the community. And they were like, this is a guy that we can introduce to people. I ended up owning a big chunk of this trade show. Now it's a huge, global trade show worth potentially insane amounts of money. So it's funny how life rewards you in weird ways. You just got to go out and do stuff and do things.
I'm really curious when you do social arbitrage, because I think that's really interesting. What do you look for specifically? And before you go into that, I do want to say that I've seen Macy honestly picks up on a lot of things before they become like mainstream. One of the things that she's gotten really into that I've never heard of before, and they're gaining a lot of popularity, the little figurines called Smiskies. You've heard of this?
Yeah, I've heard of everything. This is all I do.
She's into this, and she's showing me these communities on like Facebook and
called?
Reddit. It's like a Smiski. They're big in Japan, and she was like, "Oh my god, this place sells Smiskies," and we bought like 12 of them.
Yeah,
and some of the stores, they're so popular that they limit them. They're like 2 per customer. These little figurines, and like there's a rare one, and I'm thinking like, this is something that before anyone else gets to it, and like
So you have to understand something. So Wall Street, we always say that Wall Street's rigged. It's rigged in our favor. Like and it pisses me off when people say that Wall Street's rigged for like institutions and hedge funds. It's not. It's rigged in our favor. Wall Street still today, their best alpha, the very best alpha that Wall Street has is access to credit card data. And they've had it for like a decade. So I have this data now, right? So like they get all the credit card data and they know what people are buying and selling in like weeks behind. So like they know what people were buying and selling 2 weeks ago. Like not selling, what they were buying in stores. But the data is dirty. It's not that great. It's not even that reliable. That's the best data they have. But we have better data than them. We have data that they are not willing to even look at. And it's data that they wouldn't even know what to do with, because it's just their heads don't work like this. So I had a company, Ticker Tags. We were the first social data intelligence company for hedge funds. So I taught hedge funds how to interpret social data, conversational data. Like, so when I say social data, what I mean is conversational data, people speaking to each other, real humans speaking to each other about what they're doing that night, where they're going out, what they want to buy, what shoes they like what movies they like. That data is so rich, and it is the gold standard for investors. Because what do people do before they buy something? They think about buying it. They talk about buying it, right? They converse with their friends on social, and specifically the gold standard I tell everyone for the last 6 years has been comment data on TikTok videos. Because back in the day, I used to analyze Twitter, and my intelligence platform, we had a deal with Twitter. We basically had 10% of all the tweets in real time. And we created an index of 1.4 million word combinations that represented every brand and product on earth, and anything that could be spoken that could be relevant to a publicly traded company. And we would monitor the volume of conversation around that topic. So I can tell you if people were starting to talk about that thing that you just mentioned, right? More than a month ago or a year ago. I can tell you if people are starting to talk about the iPhone, or how many people talk about the iPhone in the 7 days before its release compared to the 5 years before that in that 7-day period. So using conversational data to measure interest in granular topics that are really important to publicly traded companies. So that's data that anyone in the world has access to. Just go on TikTok and start reading comments of trending videos. Literally, just do that. That's what I do. That's how I'm generating all this money. I'm reading comments of TikTok videos. That's my alpha.
What are some of the things that you're seeing right now that, like, smaller things, like before we go into robots give us small examples?
Also, if the average viewer out there wants to try to take something away from this conversation and implement it in their own investing strategy, would they go and make bigger sized plays on fewer companies, or more plays on more companies? Like, how would they implement this?
That doesn't matter so much. Like, how you trade doesn't matter that much. Everyone focuses so much on the It's all about alpha. It's about finding information that other people haven't found out yet, that's meaningful to a publicly traded company. It's that simple. So I think Crocs are crashing right now. So I'm shorting Crocs. I believe that Birkenstocks are doing really well this holiday season. So I'm long Birkenstock. I believe that Elf Cosmetics is doing better than the market thinks they're doing right now. So I'm long Elf. I believe that Nike's not doing so great right now.